911, what's your emergency?
It's my wife. She's been shot multiple times. There's blood everywhere.
Okay, sir. Is she breathing?
No, I don't think so.
Fire and rescue is on their way to your location, sir.
Okay, thank you.
What is your name, sir?
My name is John Branion.
Okay.
Can you tell the fire and rescue to come quick? I don't think she's breathing.
Yes.
It's my wife.
Yes, sir.
A doctor's wife is murdered in her own home. Her husband is the suspect in question. Can forensics once again solve another murder? Donna Branion was a 41-year-old wife and mother of two. Donna Branion's husband, John Branion, was a practicing physician in Chicago. Donna Branion was shot to death in her own home in Chicago. Officer Christina Vander Elst was first responder.
Doing it.
Hi, sir. I received a 911 call. How may I help you? What seems to happen?
She's shot. She's dead.
Is this your wife, sir? How do you know this date?
I just came from the job and
Sir, she doesn't seem to have any pulse. Please, can you go on your knees? Sit down. I will read your Miranda rights. So since you are the first person here at this crime scene, you will be the victim, sir. You have the right to remain silent. If you need an attorney, what will be the project? If you cannot afford one, the city will give you one. Anything you do also will be used against you in court. Do you understand your rights, sir?
yes, I do.
Okay, please tell me now what happened.
I just came home and she was lying here dead. Shot.
Do you know anything about this woman? What relationship do you have with her?
She's my wife. We've been married for 30 years.
How come you came home, sir? I'm going to be phoning for backup. Please carry on telling me the story.
We were going to a lunch date with a friend and then she canceled, so I just came home and she's dead. I can't believe she's dead.
Office coming up, come in. This is Christina Rodas. I am here at a crime scene. It's 9/11, please, do we have backup? And the crime scene investigation, we have a dead body with bullet holes to the head. Thank you very much. Okay, so we need to leave now. I need to book you, and we'll be back when we processing the crime scene.
A victim all her life.
Lead investigator Dorota Yagnisakova is interviewing Officer Vander Elst.
Christina Rodas, officer. So, Detective, I hear you have some information, questions you would like to ask me about the crime scene that you're supposed to.
Yeah, first of all, what's your name again?
I am Christina Rodas.
Alright, what's your rank?
I am chief of the head of Chicago PD, and I do special training eyewitness, military combat, and crime scene investigations.
Were you the first responder to Revenue Crime Scene?
Yes, I was. I was currently working the 911 protocol line, and as I received the call, I reported it, and I was first responder to the crime scene waiting for backup.
What did you see at the crime scene?
When I arrived, the door had been opened. The door was open. John Branion, who is the husband and the primary suspect of our investigation, was standing over the body. On the floor was his wife, and she had been shot multiple times, and there was a lot of blood. Nothing seemed to be out of the ordinary in the room. It seemed to be very normal and calm. But Mr. Branion's reaction did not seem genuine to the loss of his wife.
Was he detained at the scene?
Yes, I detained him at the scene and I read him his Miranda rights due to the fact that he was the person who called it in and the only suspect on scene, so he was taken into custody and I took him down.
Alright, do you have any other information that could help our investigation?
After interviewing John Branion here in the story, there were a few gaps in his timeline, as he had gone to the hostel before and that the lunch arrangement with his wife had not worked out, so there were a few things I think we should clarify and work together to combat teams. Secondly, he had two wives, so there seemed to be a problem there that we should actually look at and try to determine if they had any cause in the death of his wife.
He had two wives?
He had two wives.
He was cheating
No, he was married to two separate people
at the same time?
at the same time, yes ma'am. He was in America.
Alright.
The medical examiner on the scene, Matthew James, is here to provide his evidence. Shot in the head, neck, and shoulder. The victim had also lost a lot of blood. 3 bullets passed through her body and were found at the scene beneath her body. while a fourth was found in her body. There was also strangulation on the victim's neck that had to have happened before her death, due to a lot of bruising on her neck. The strangulation looked like it was from a wire or rope that happened from behind her. One of the 4 bullets that were shot at the victim was lodged deep into her body, which was found later in the autopsy. John Branion tells his side of the story in his wife's death. I did have an affair, sadly, with another woman. We shared a liking in civil rights. If Donna was here right now, I would apologize to her about that relationship. But at this time, I don't want to get in any further detail about that relationship. My marriage with Donna was great. It was like an average, normal relationship where we both loved each other very much. After all, we were married for 30 years and had 2 beautiful children, a boy and a girl. My side of the story about my wife's death was that I left my job at the hospital at around about 11:30 a.m. I drove to the school to get my son, in which I arrived there at around 11:35 a.m. I waited for him, and when he came, I stopped to go pick up a friend named Maxine Brown, because my wife and I scheduled a lunch date with her. Unfortunately, Maxine Brown canceled our lunch date, so I proceeded to my house from there, and I found my wife dead. John Branion spent 12 years on a run in Uganda, Africa. John Branion was apprehended in Uganda in 1983. Dr. John Branion was put on a plane and sent back to the United States. In the case of Donna Branion's murder, John Branion was found guilty. He soon after began a 20 to 30 year sentence. Dr. Branion had so many appeals, but they failed. Dr. Branion served 7 years in prison, but because of his health, his sentence was commuted for mercy reasons, and he died in September 1990 at the age of 64. Our group believes that our suspect, John Branion, is guilty because of just the way that he acted, lied, and how he thought that he can get away with it. Starting off, when his wife was murdered, there was a witness that saw John Branion walk out of the house, and she reported to the police that she heard loud noises, comparing to shots from a gun. Then 2 days after his wife was murdered, he left on a Christmas break vacation to Colorado. Police recovered, with a search warrant, 2 boxes of ammunition, 38 caliber, from a closet in his apartment. There was a full box and then a box that was missing 4 shells, the same amount of shells that murdered his wife. It was also the bullets matched to the Walther PPK that John Branion owned. Shortly afterwards, Branion was arrested for murder. There was no sign of forced entry in the Branion home, which means that the victim knew who her attacker was. Also, the victim was not sexually assaulted, so robbery was also off the checkbox. Also, John Branion married another woman in the relationship that he had with the victim. John Branion was a very avid gun collector. Like I said before, he owned the Walther PPK, which was very rare. When John Branion was questioned about the Walther PPK, he denied it. Then in court, when it was mentioned again, he said that he did own a Walther PPK. When John Branion posted bail, he fled to Uganda for 12 years. When in fact, when he came back, he was found guilty, serving a 20 to 30 year sentence. But he was released with a mercy thing.